I would just say build a better deck.
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Welcome to the Commander Smiths.
We are the Commander Smiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
Why'd you stutter? We've done this for
I didn't stutter.
7 years. This almost, we're cousins.
We're cousins? Oh, man. All right. So this is episode, what are we on? 455? No, not 455. 345. There we go.
345.
Got numbers all over the place. Last week was an episode, and it feels like Mondays is
it's the day they announce stuff. It's pretty cool. They're like, I hear the Commander Smiths record live every Monday night, and we should put news out Monday during the day to fill in the time in between Secret Layers.
Right.
And then we're good to go. By the way, Secret Layer is on sale right now.
Right now.
And nothing's sold out yet?
One thing.
One thing.
The home, what is it? The artist, Peach Momoko, is the one that's sold out. But we did get warnings on Hatsune Miku foil, and I believe it was the Duskmourn. Yes, Duskmourn House of Horror, which are both really good drops. So it's not surprising that we have them almost sold out. The part that's surprising is how long it's taken. And
right. I think we will get to that discussion within the clickbait title that we got going on, which was the announcement today. There was an article. Hi, Renshot. Are you mad at Adam?
Yeah, what the hell, man? Thanks. just sit here and drink my beer.
All right.
Then. All right, fine.
The great thing about doing nothing is people like you more, I guess. I don't know.
Hers is for life, buddy. Thanks. Whatever.
Get the fuck out. So yeah, the major announcement is we had that long discussion about a lot of possibilities. Wizards of the Coast is taking over the basically the rules committee. Their job. They're going to be doing the bannings, the rules, and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of folded after a week of
Mr. Anderson,
huge amount of harassment, if we want to say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, there we go. There's an Urza's for life. Thank you. Joel got it. All right, tinfoil hat. This happens to be pretty quickly, almost like it was planned. I don't think that it was planned to have this happen.
I don't think so.
I think the outcry and it, not saying that
the major reason why this happened was there were threats of violence, and that's not okay.
Right.
And I think in the letter that I was seeing, I don't know the names, so it doesn't really stick to me who's in the RC, but there was a letter about, it was beyond this, kind of just going like, I read all the messages. This is, if there's like 3 multiple million people playing Commander, and you have 5 people on a voluntary basis making these decisions, and that person was just like, we don't have the resources, we don't have the time, we want the game to, everybody to be happy, and that's just basically impossible. So it's kind of handing it over to the entity that has the resources, that does make the cards.
Right.
And it's wild. I mean, rumors basically saying that the rules committee people that were on it, if they're going to any Magic cons, they're going to have extra security.
Right. It's
for
like,
them.
what do
You're
we
like? That's not cool.
President
right?
stuff going on here.
Right.
Like, we
Right.
got Secret Service kind of. It's just nuts with all that. Yeah. No.
And so that I can totally understand. I don't think you plan that. That's all I'm saying. That's not something that you're
Right.
planning.
Right.
You're not hoping for this to happen. Maybe they underestimated the reaction that they were going to get. And that is in the consideration of what they were saying, that they did not consider the money amount of what was going on. And I think that was a huge mistake. And I still, reiterating that from last week. I mean, like, in my opinion, has not gone too far from last week, even though it was a lot hotter last week, as in, like, I think they just did it wrong.
Right.
I think the game ends up probably being better, even though people like their cards specifically. But as a whole, gameplay wise, it's probably good, but it should have been low and slow.
Right.
Like Nadu was, and you go
for
after
sure.
Dockside.
Dockside had the
and then
warning. We talked about all that last week. It's
right. You're going to get shit for it, but then you put out basically a notation with it going, we are looking at fast mana cards.
Yeah.
And then that puts everybody on notice. And then everybody goes, oh, what could it be? And then you start speculating on what it could be. And that at least gives us an idea of what is the aim.
If you're not actually just pointing out the cards that are warning, yes, you could just do that.
I think that's a good point. They did not use the CAG in this decision either.
That's what I was going to say. I think the biggest reason that this happened is, one, the decision that happened, like all these being banned at once. But I think the biggest thing, I think more than anything, is they didn't use the CAG, which is what they are there for one of the biggest decisions that they ever had to make. Like,
right.
Literally,
they didn't. No, they weren't being forced to make this either.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? They could have done nothing, and it would have just stayed the same.
What I meant is the biggest decision that they decided to make in Commander, they decided not to use the people that are there to help them make decisions like this. So you lose probably the biggest influencer in Commander, if one of the top 3, where you lose Josh Lee Kwai resigning last week. That happened 2 days after we had this. I think
from the CAG.
CAG.
And then who else
stepped
down from the CAG?
Kristen Gregory, which she is a part of Command Zone. Not a part of it, but she's been on their show a bunch, so she's very familiar with that. I'm not surprised if more would have resigned before this all happened, because, I mean, if I was a part of the CAG and this happened, it would have been like a slap to the face. It's like, why am I here? Like, am I just here to take the brunt of everybody yelling at me for something you did? Like, this doesn't make sense, like, why am I this doesn't make sense why I'm even here. Why does this even exist if you're not going to use your tools to make the most important decision, I shouldn't say important, but
the most controversial decision. And it was, again, if you make it low and slow, you go after Dockside, which there's at least been legitimate discussion about, and then you go, fast mana's on the table, everybody's noticed, and then you don't really, you can't really speculate either which way. But then at the end, after 3 months, or whenever you make the choice, then you're going, okay, you got me. But people would have also looked at Jewel Lotus and Mana Crypt and like all of them. Like there are multiple cards out there that fit the definition of what they're looking at, and it was at least a bigger list, and then you can narrow it down. And for me, like, transparency, beforehand, even though they're saying like they went the opposite direction of what I would have hoped for.
They kept it in because they were worried.
Right. They were so tight-lipped about it that you didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And when people don't see, and again, I wasn't necessarily angry, but I understood.
Right.
And so, but when you hit, it felt like a blindside for a lot of people. And if that's happening, you're going to upset a lot of people. And I think there was estimates of $130 million in value lost just in 24 hours. I don't know. I didn't see any numbers beyond that, but that's big money right there.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is like, we weren't the only, I mean, the outcry of the community was the part that's crazy is like, I haven't watched, Command Zone in years. I haven't watched Delirium Academy in years. So I haven't watched Professor stuff. People, our Discord was posting, we're like, hey, check this out. Across the board from the big content creators pretty much had the same view that we had. And obviously Command Zone is because he's going to have, Josh got burned, and that's an interest. If you haven't got a chance, if you watched our video last week, watch their videos as well. It's actually a pretty similar breakdown of what we said. I don't know if you really want to rehash going back. So we said bottom was 127 million is what
it sounds like there's been a bit of a rebound now, but I think that's based off of hope.
Right.
And speccing like with it. Because, okay, so going off of this article that Wizards put out today, basically saying they're going to be reviewing the ban list, but nothing is being reversed.
Nothing, yeah, not at this point.
Nothing is planned for an unban or ban in the near future.
Yeah.
Whatever that may or may not mean. I wouldn't expect anything through the winter. So the next 2 ban announcements, I would expect no change. So that's me speculating. But
for those that haven't seen this, we'll eventually put it on the link for the video. If you're watching YouTube or if you're listening, we'll have it there so you can kind of go over it. But they're also talking about doing a tier system with so they're gonna work with whoever stays, like I mentioned earlier, with the rules committee. But they're thinking of doing like a tier system, which we had that was tossed around the idea in the Discord a bunch as an idea to make this work. We kind of mentioned having a separate ban list for CEDH, but I think I like this tier system because we can kind of get away from this deck power level, blah, blah, blah. Deck power level is like, okay, let's get in a tier system. Be like, you tier 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I think they want to try to do it as a 4-tier system. And I think I like it that we're actually, I don't know if it'll work, but officially trying to get something where it's like people can actually put their decks in a certain tier level. And so,
yeah,
because it's all just been whose theory works with this. What do you think? How do we? Like Chris is saying, my deck is a 7. Everybody's deck is a 7. That's the bit, Now we can actually get kind of like clear cut, like, oh, well, if you're doing this, this, and that. There's also the pilot that matters too, but just as a deck stance, to be able to do the 4-tier system and to kind of put your decks in a certain tier, I think that works out really well. I actually like that really well. Like, I think this is smart, and I wish we would have been doing this for us. It doesn't matter as much because we just have our play group. We don't go to the LGS. But
in my opinion, I don't like
you
this
don't like
system.
It?
No.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, that is a totally different conversation, right? Because, and I don't know if we want to get into it, but having one card puts you into a tier 4, and you're kind of like, no, probably not, in my opinion. Like, if you have an Ancient Tomb, that doesn't make your deck an auto tier 4. It doesn't put it into the top tier in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Joel is bringing up. I think he meant to say fast finance. He wrote fast advance, but it's fast finance. Literally this week said this tier system. Like, it almost was like, are they in cahoots with Wizards? Because they said exactly this, like a tier system where like the top tier has everything on the table, like including Black Lotus, all the Power 9, everything brought back in. Just saying there is no ban stuff, and then you go tier 3, blah 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 blah. So yeah, it was kind of interesting if they do that.
Okay.
Think of that. Like, I mean, if you had a tier system where it's like it's more on what's banned in each tier, more than what is played in them. It's just like
I probably like that way better.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Because I mean, like, even though like the discussion is like bans are bad, we don't like them, but you also don't want mismatched power. You want a good game. Some people go pub stomping, but the idea of EDH is to go and have a good game. And like, I think we've had discussions in the past. Like, to me, Black Lotus and the original Moxes are fine for EDH. You know what I mean? Like, they're just rare and they're held to a really high power level. Like, I still think like Ancestral Visions probably that's bannable. And Time Walk, yeah.
But think of like if they did that though with like it's like a legacy type of thing where your tier 4 is everything unbanned, you know, freaking just crazy, basically commander 2 or 3 turns the game's over, like stronger than CEDH. You're talking CCEDH. It's like competitive EDH. So like I think that'd be cool because then it opens up. It makes it so that Commander is the format you can play any single card if you want. It doesn't mean you're gonna do well if you're in that tier 4 going against, you know, people that have Black Lotus and Mox and all that, Moxes and stuff. But I think that's kind of it would be interesting. I would it would be entertaining to watch too, I guess. You know, you're seeing these.
I guess for me at least, I think there's more nuance on a tier system or a power level. Like that was what we struggled with, and I think that everybody has struggled with, is that there is nuance. And when we try and put these, there are definitely categories, right? And the hard thing is for people to know. And so like I kind of told my wife this story. So like back in the day at like college level, high school level, we would play racquetball together as like a family, and I'd play at the local YMCA and stuff like that. And I was probably the worst player or on the bottom tier of it. And I'm not saying that I was bad.
No,
we had a really good crew.
You had some good placement shots. Like that's
right. Well, I'm not fishing for comments here.
I know.
Look,
you mean compliments? Yes.
Compliments or comments. I want you to be quiet and
shut your mouth. Shut your damn
the point of the
mouth.
story is, I was only okay. I couldn't do a kill shot at and I went out to Wyoming and for one of our cousins' college graduations, and I played with our uncle Kenny. And he was a lead engineer at the University of Wyoming and some professors, and he'd play with them weekly. And I got in a game and I was like, oh, I'm not very good. Like playing with who we were playing with, I was decent. Like nobody was like, I want to be on Lowry's team, but also nobody was like, I want to be on Lowry's team. This dude's killing it, you know? And so I go over there. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not going to do anything. And I killed him.
Oh, like, good for you.
No, again, that's not the point. The point is that like I didn't have enough experience to know where I was on like
where your tier level is.
I still don't think I was very good, but I was like
in the tier level
23, really active, really in shape, and I was gonna beat some professors and engineers that did it once or twice a week.
Good for you.
At that time, they'd crush me now, but.
Well, that's a good point.
That's the point is I can go to an LGS, and this is where you can hit the button, but I can borrow some casuals deck and crush them with it.
Oh,
like their own. Yeah, that's me being a cocky asshole. But if somebody's going in and being a casual, and like, and there are different levels of casualness as well.
Mm.
And I've been trying not to make it sound like an asshole, but like I'm probably again, I'm just dickhead, I guess.
Oh, good.
So
for you.
Like number 2, he's a purposeful casual. He knows how to play higher level, and he is a good player. He's smart. He knows what he's doing, but he doesn't want to put in the time and effort into Magic, and he chooses to do more pre-cons and wacky ideas. And that's cool.
Yeah.
And then there are, this is the harsh term, there's ignorant casuals. And they don't know that they're bad. They just don't understand. They haven't played the game long enough.
Right.
or there, you know, like, and so that it's there's even different levels in casualness, if that makes sense. And that you have your CEDH, which has a pretty clear defined cut of what it is, and then we have what we are, which is like high power. Again, we're not competitive, but we're high power. And that is almost, there's not much nuance there, but right there we're talking about 4 different tiers.
Right.
And to me, we're very different from CEDH.
Yeah. I played against
And so do we not have
against
CEDH? Like,
CEDH
if I have
deck?
an Ancient Tomb, I'm a tier 4 with every CEDH deck out there? That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's a nuanced discussion, and a lot of people don't even want to have that discussion. And I think what I was hearing and seeing, it's just like probably too simplified.
So I think I will, let's say it's on a banned circumstance where you have, let's just throw this out there. Tier 4 has everything unbanned. Let's say they go all out, pull all the stop signs, unban everything. Tier 3 would be kind of where your CEDH is what I would think. And then tier 2, but it's all based on ban stuff. So let's say tier 3 brings back Jeweled Lotus and all, and, you know, Dockside and all that stuff. But also, what if they throw, well, let me move back down. So we go down to tier 2, and at tier 2, that's where they throw in, what if we get bigger ban lists on that? So I would be, in this scenario of all these tier systems, if they go, okay, but, you know, now we have the ban list that we have now, but we're going to add some more cards that are more CEDH. I think I would like that more because, one, I feel like we actually have a system of where everything's supposed to be. It's not everything is one. CEDH is not the same as EDH. And if we pull out all the stops and now we have this other level that's above CEDH, I would love that so much more. And then you have tier 1, which is basically your precons upgraded or not upgraded, maybe just a little bit of upgrade, not a lot. I think that would work out perfect because I would pull into, we're doing tier level 2. This is where we go off the ban list for our group. This is where it's at. You can build your decks around that. So when you get to an LGS, it isn't like, hey, is it a 7? Is it a 6? Is it blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm going off of tier level 2. I don't have any of the cards that are in tier level 3 and 4 that are banned, or I have all the cards that are banned in tier level 2. Sorry. I'm getting mixed up with the 1s and the 2s and the 3s. So I think this change is actually going to work to actually get everybody kind of on a similar page. And you'll bring different decks. You won't just bring, you know, right now it's bring your CEDH deck or your 7, you know, like, or precons. That's pretty much it. This saying that these are the ban lists, like, yeah, people will still pub stomp with, they'll figure out ways, they'll do infinite combos, whatever, tutor into it, even on the tier level 2. But at least you know what you're playing with, you know, what cards you can and can't play with. I think I really like this idea. I guess.
Do you think this is during the Rule 0 conversation, right?
Right. And I mean, that can be advertised. You know, it can be at the LGS can go, this is a tier level 2 night. This is tier level 3 night. Or this area is tier level 2. This is tier level 3. And if you're not, if you're in tier level 2 and you have the banned cards that are in there, well, then you forfeit, you know, like,
I mean, how many people do you think show up to an LGS at night?
I have no,
right. That's the point, right? Like, you want everybody playing. If you have 20 people showing up, you at most you have 5 pods, and that's for all the full spectrum of everybody that's playing in the area. That's what you can get. 20 is probably good. Again, you don't know. I don't really know, and it's going to vary around the country. But I think that does make it more difficult, as in, like, even if these tier systems are in place, you're going to have to accept people having higher powered decks.
Right, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
But like to fire off pods, and so you're still going to get salt.
Yeah, but you still have that this other way too, like how we've been doing it. It doesn't matter. Like I think, at least with the tier system, we're finally getting like, to be honest, this could be the opportunity that you actually turn Commander into a sanctioned tournament type of thing. If you're actually tiering this out,
I think that's what CEDH was supposed to be.
Right, but they haven't done it. They haven't gone and done actual tournament stuff. By Wizards taking over or helping. This could be the opportunity of them actually making it sanctioned tournaments. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm for it because something needed to change, or I would have been fine. I don't know. I don't know if I would have been fine if nothing happened. No, I think I wanted something to happen. I wanted CEDH to at least get their own, like I just felt bad for all the CEDH players, and I felt like they got screwed with all this, and I think this was by how they handled it, they forced this to happen. If they would have done the way that we've been talking of, banned the 2 cards and then left Jeweled Lotus and Monocrypt until later, they would still be holding the reins for the rules, for bans and all that stuff. But because they just went wild with it, it kind of forced their... I mean, think of it this way.
I agree.
If you made a game and the thing that is making the most money for your game, that is making the Commander, or no matter how many people are on here, if there's modern or standard players, Commander is the thing that is keeping Magic alive. Like, it's the big dog. It's what makes the most money. Now,
and here I can't see who wrote that, but this is kind of what I was going to get to as well. Like the tournament play and Wizards of the Coast taking over, that I'm against it. But like we were saying last week, they weren't considering the kitchen table people, and I don't think Wizards is going to do that even more. They're going to try and commoditize it and do everything that you're saying, which I'm going to not enjoy, if that makes sense. Like, we're not going to do that. And they're going to gear, in my opinion, whatever EDH and Commander is going to be, they're going to try and commodify it. And we can say there's no, like, that's what they're going to do, but that's exactly why we wanted the RC. So, separate from Wizards. So it's going to be a lot less casual, and it's going to be a lot more, like, geared up, if that makes sense. So I was against it last week. I'm still against it because
you're against that Wizards taking over, is what you're saying?
Right.
Well,
I understand why they are.
Right.
I understand.
Well, that's what I was getting to, is that you have something that is making the most money, making your company the most profitable, and then you have something that isn't in your control make decisions that loses your company millions, and potentially, how many people did we see? Let's see it, Chris. How many people did we say they were done? This just burned them so bad. There's so many people from the Discord and other places where talking people off the ledge. It's like, hey, just let's. It's gonna be okay. It sucks. We all lost a lot of money, and it burns. But the fact that this happened, they had to step in because this hurt them financially. And you have people walking away from the game. You made that point last week about the Chronicles thing. This is that I heard somebody another. I think it was Command Zone. If you watch that whole video, they're like, this is very similar to them overstepping with Chronicles way back in the day when they were trying to reprint stuff. Yeah, it was totally. I remember Josh Lee Kwai saying it. He said that they did they made the Chronicles because they wanted to print more, and people were like, whoa, what the hell? I just spent all this money on this card, and now you reprinted it, and it's garbage. It doesn't cost anything. And that's when they made the reserve list to be like, hey, these are the cards that are protected, so you don't have to worry about your investment in the game. So, yes, they do know that it is an investment. They aren't denying that, cards are expensive, and so they want to make sure that people keep coming back to the game. And so he made the point, like you did last week, that this is to that point. This was a big hit. I don't know if the secret layer today is an indication of.
I think that's a good time to get into it right now.
So
It's just...
the secret layers, as you know, if people don't know about the secret layers, they started this year on doing the limited quantity. That started like basically January 1st, kind of. But the first secret layer is right around after that. Since then, every single secret layer that has come out has had one piece of that secret layer sell out within the first 2 hours, less than 2 hours. You know, no further than 3 hours. Okay, I think the longest is 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. This secret layer took 7.5 hours for one thing to sell out. Now,
like at this point in time, in the last 6 months, most of it was sold out.
Right.
Like you'd have 1 or 2 left over that just were the worst ones, clearly. And right now we have 1, and this is like a huge drop.
Yes, this has eight different drops in it, and that's bigger than their normal ones. And it has Hatsune Miku, which a lot of people might not know it. We didn't know it, but it's huge.
Yeah.
The first one sold out, and that was the one that sold out in 2 hours and 20 minutes. That was the spring drop. The one that came out in the summer, that one sold out in 1 hour and 40 minutes. This one's still up. So we're coming up on almost 12 hours. It might not be right now. I don't have it up right now, but as we started this podcast a half an hour ago, it was still up. So you're at 10 hours at this point. And these aren't worse cards. These are better cards, in my opinion. Actually,
like across the board, they're better.
They're better cards. They're more expensive cards. These should have sold out. So that means a couple things. One, you made this point on Discord, either that they increased the quantity, which I don't know if they did that or not. The other one sold out faster.
I mean, when you're seeing it across the board, maybe.
Yeah. 2, it's because of the bans. Or 3,
consumer confidence.
Yeah.
And like people just not willing to buy into it.
Yeah. Or 3, we kind of talked about this, that they spoiled these really early. Hatsune Miku, though, on the last one, they spoiled really early, but they spoiled this whole drop a week earlier than they normally do. And
we did a video a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And like I had almost forgotten that it was happening today.
Right.
So where people were posting in secret or in the Discord channel.
So we're being, we're giving all the options of why it could have happened, but
right.
From the trends of everything else that has gone on with the secret layers, and we buy the secret layers, I buy a lot of them. This is abnormal for what it's been doing since they started this new format. So take that for what it is. Does it coincide with the bans? I'll say this too. People reached out either direct message or on Discord or even just on Twitter, scrolling Twitter. There's a lot of people that were like, I was going to buy the secret layer. I loved the Ghostbusters one, or I love the Chucky one, or blah, 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 blah. After this, I don't think I can spend money on this. And so I'm pulling out of it, so there's that. So I don't know.
I do want to say and stress, like I watched too many card mutilation videos last week of destruction of lotuses and crypts. Like that was super sad to see.
It's not, they made proxies and they freaking didn't do.
I don't know. There are definitely people that are just silly. I don't know. It was hard to watch.
I know it was.
I don't advise doing it.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Also, like being angry about it and showing that in a healthy way, which I think a large majority of the people did do. But threatening violence crosses the line for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So just want to reiterate that.
Because we didn't even, it never even crossed my mind. I will say, and I said this in the Discord too, is like, it's not a good thing to say, but it's this day and age. It's like we have these keyboard warriors of people that just feel like there's no consequences. And I freaking hate that. It's like, why are people such douches? Like, I don't get, like, why? Yes, I'm sure people are out lots of money. I was out money, but there was never in my mind to be like, I'm going to track down that person and I'm going to threaten their life and blah, 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 or even just call them names or whatever. It's like, that never crossed my mind. I was like, fuck, this sucks. But I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I'll be upset about it, but I'm not tracking these people down and trying to make their lives hell. So it's just stupid. One thing we did mention earlier, I do want to hit. We do want to wrap this up because we have our top 10. We actually didn't mention that. We're doing our top 10 cards, commander cards for Duskmourn. I know we're late on this because it was supposed to be last week, but we talked for so long. But take a look at, just kind of look at the ban list. Look at some of the cards that are in that ban list. Oh, yeah. Because there could be things that come off of there now with this. And like Lowry mentioned, I don't think it's going to happen next week. I'll be very, very shocked if they go reverse, this unban, this unban. I think they're going to take some time.
I believe in there it says we are not planning on unbanning anything for a certain amount of time. Like nothing ASAP.
Okay.
All
so
right.
like Lowry, like you mentioned, I think they'll take their time with it. But this is the opportunity to kind of look at some of this stuff. Some people have already done this idea because there's already things on the ban list that are spiking. Isn't Primeval Titans already being kind of targeted and all the some of those things. So take a look at some of that stuff. If you still have your Mox or your not Mox, your Jeweled Lotus and your Monocrypt, maybe just keep it. Don't do anything with it because there might be some changes coming. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Free coalition victory, yes. Is there anything else you wanted to add on this? Because I think we've kind of hit all the stuff. We just we'll put the article from Wizards about it all.
So to round it off, you think this is a good thing then?
Something needed to happen. I would have preferred another, like last week when we kind of came to the conclusion of Wizards taking over the CEDH. I liked that idea that they took over the ban list for CEDH because then it still involved Wizards, but then still involved the rules committee to do their own thing.
Right.
I would have preferred
kind of creates
that.
a separation between casual and competitive. And I agree. I probably would have.
That would have been my more. Hey, you're bringing up the. We did throw up the poll. I threw up this poll earlier today for us. There isn't a lot of votes yet because it was just a little bit, so 54 votes. But you can see it's pretty much, this is how it is. It's 30% of people said, the question was, Wizards has officially stepped in to collaborate with the Rules Committee on the banning cards and establishing commander power levels moving forward. Is this a positive change or do you prefer the RC to keep control? 30% said no, the RC should remain in control. 31% said yes, I support Wizards taking over. I don't know why I used the bomb here for the image. It was kind of just blow it all up. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
There should be a different approach. 17% of the votes, and then we had 22% of the people voted. I'm not sure. So this is kind of where we've been seeing. It's like a 50-50 of people liking this decision and not. I mean, it was a majority the other way. Like if you look down at our poll from last week, thumbs down with the bans, we had 40% compared to the others. But with this, it is, 50-50 in a way, 30%, 31%. It makes sense, So how would you have done this? What would you have liked? Are you happy with this? I'm excited for the tiers, I guess, to see what they do. They wanted changes, and I'm excited for changes.
Like I was saying before, I do think there's more nuance within power levels within decks, and card choices are the easiest way to make it happen. But I do think there's more nuance, and so as Wizards taking it over, I understand why they did. I do think the RC eventually should have made the right decisions, and they have sat on their hands a lot over the years and stuff like that. And they are generally, and that's why this comes out of nowhere, is that they generally sit on their hands, which me and you appreciate.
Right.
The less bans, the better.
No bans.
And so that is what I was preferring. And so when they banned 3 huge cards, that was such a sideways knock that I think they did lack the foresight because they've never dealt with something like this. They normally go onesies, twosies, There, you know, like it was just too fast, too quick, too powerful. You're going to upset a lot of people. They should have went slower. I'm sorry that they're gone, and I understand why they're gone. So we are where we are. I'm surprised. I would have preferred a separation in ban lists so that Crypt and Jeweled Lotus had somewhere to go. And at this point,
But, I mean,
they still don't, and they won't probably for the next 6 months. And so we'll see. At least if they do unban them, you can't be like, they're not going to be like, Wizards unban them because they want more money. It's like, yeah, well, that is what you're going to get. Like a company and corporation gets a lot more leeway that way.
Yeah.
Like you can. So
I don't think
it is what it is. It's probably what it's going to be.
Well,
so
I will say this, like, and I don't want to go too much longer because we got the other topic here, but the way that we play, and I know this doesn't fit with everybody. You know, there's a lot of LGS players out there, but there's a lot of kitchen table players. The less bans, the better, as you mentioned earlier. I don't think with Wizards taking over that there's going to be more bans. I think it's going the other way, and it's all about your group. Just like, and if you go against people that are just D-bags, and you don't play with those people. Like, that's the thing is like, yeah, I get people go into the LGS and you can't pick who you're going to play against. Totally get that. But then you just don't play against those people. You find somebody else to play, or, you know, you just, that's what has to happen.
And honestly, like, if you do have a solid play group that you're playing with on a regular basis, you literally can have whatever, like, as long as everybody agrees, have whatever ban list you want. You're not going to be playing, if you're not out there playing with a bunch of people, just do what you want. Like, I think that is the easy way. But a lot of us did look towards the ban list as a general rule on when you go out in the wild, that's what everybody's expecting.
And I think that's kind of what happened with us, is that when we first started with Commander, we were just like, hell, you know, we were with the beginning of Commander, and we're like, oh, there's nothing banned, you know. And then you were seeing, like, I don't remember how you knew it, but you might have been playing at LGS's more or something like that. You knew the ban list, and I didn't. So you'd be like, well, that card's banned. I was like, who cares? It's just us. Like,
I might have missed what Matt is saying here, but no more proxies, though. That's a big change. Was that in the announcement? I might have missed that, or there was no more proxies.
Oh, I didn't see anything about proxies.
So,
no, I think proxies are good.
But Matt's saying no more. That's a big change, and so I was unaware of that change at this point.
Proxies were never.
We're not going to listen to them.
Well, yeah, proxies were never a thing. Like Wizards
well,
always.
But if you went into LGSs, they were cool with proxies.
Yeah, but that's
as long as
still
everybody
an LGS
was cool
thing.
with proxies.
Like, that's not a Wizards controlling, you know.
But as it becomes more and more official, you will likely get less and less acceptable proxies.
I would say going to an LGS, I think that's probably part of the reason why I don't go into LGS, because LGSs is because I don't want to have that like conversation of, hey, I own all these cards, but I don't want to have to buy 30 copies of this, you know, and this is a proxy. I don't want, like, when we do the Magic, that's maybe a good point, is maybe the Magic Fest stuff, but that's all players. It's not like you're sitting down to play with somebody and you're playing with a proxy. What's going to happen? You're not getting thrown out of there. You know, if the person doesn't want to play with you with proxies, then what's the difference if Wizards has it or doesn't have it? They just get up and move and go to a different spot.
Well, and I think Matt is saying that he's saying here that it's standard WPN policy. I do know that vintage tournaments allow a certain amount of proxies at LGSs. Question is are they WPN stores or whatever? So I'm not sure on that kind of nuance. And so I think if it's like an official tournament in an LGS, your proxies probably won't be cool, but if it's still casual and like it has been forever,
and that's
then
the thing,
I can see not being a problem.
If you're entering a tournament if they start tournaments with EDH, if you're starting tournaments with Commander stuff, I'm gonna play with the real cards. I know we always say proxies and all that stuff. Personally, I'm not gonna do tournament stuff, but I would expect if you're entering a tournament, you're not using proxies. I mean, that's just
right. If it's a tournament, I totally see
but
that.
Commander has never had. We don't have tournaments, so it's like I've never had to really think about that like that. But anyways, yeah, that's only, and everybody's kind of reiterating that. So, is there anything else with this? We can move on to.
I think we're good.
Okay. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about with that, you guys can let us know in the comments and all that stuff. If there's something we missed or whatever. But yeah, it's a Monday. All right, so we have. Let me get out of here. I might as well talk about our tournament results. So we did have.
We don't have to.
Why? Because you don't have anything in there?
I don't care. Yeah, it's stupid.
Well, what
tournament.
do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean? Well, okay, we had 2 cards left. Okay, we did a tournament.
We have 2 cards left? No. You have 2 cards left. I have 0 cards left. And I'm clearly better.
Well, let's see if I can. I didn't update any of my stuff here, so let's see if I can pull up our. Do I still have it up? No, I still have our Duskmourn stuff. Did I even put the tournament in there? No, it's not. All right, we're gonna go back to the card preview stuff. Okay, so we had the best utility land tournament. We had what did we do? 30? Did we do 32? Is that what we did? Yeah, we did 32.
Yeah.
And we whittled it down. We came down to the final 2, which were both my cards, like Lowry was mentioning. We had number 2 overall pick, which was
good for you. There we
go. Which was
I press buttons every once in a while.
Urza's Saga. Let me get yours. There we go.
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out. Going against my number 4 overall pick. Actually, my second pick, but 4 overall pick. Boseju, who endures. Who do you think won this one, Lowry? How do you think this went?
I'm gonna go with Urza Saga. I hate it, but I hope it's Boseju.
It is Boseju takes it down with 57.
Get the fuck
percent.
I'm a lot less better now.
Votes. Crazy though, because you had Urza Saga can go in any deck because it's colorless, and Boseju is only in green decks. But it is that good of a card, so I'm not surprised, but a little surprised because I thought we had a big enough Urza Saga, Urza for Life people out there to take that down. But so yeah, Boseju ends up winning it all. We had, like I said, mentioned 32 other cards that were in this. We didn't have fetches and all that stuff. It was all non-mana producing things or finding things and all that. So. Thank you guys all for voting for that. I'm sad. Urza's didn't get
Urza Saga isn't that good anyway. So
get the fuck out.
Well,
it's fine.
At least I know that I get first pick on the next tournament. In this one, I didn't even need first. I needed second pick. Well, no, I needed the 4th pick is really where it came down to, because it's just the first time that a number 4 has won.
I don't know. You think I can remember that far?
Well, I wonder what the lowest seed.
We've been doing it for we've been doing tournaments for 3 years now.
Yeah, whenever Hull Breacher got banned was when the first tournament started. We got Hull Breacher banned.
Calm down. We don't want any violent threats our way. It wasn't actually our fault. Just calm down. I'm sorry.
If people don't know, we did the first term we did was the Salty 64. So we did the 64 saltiest cards in Commander. And the day that we announced the winner, which was Hull Breacher, ended up winning, that day it was banned.
A couple hours after our tournament, our voting ended.
Yeah, and so it was. we got to start the podcast. Yeah, we got to start the podcast with this is the winner, and now it's banned. So it was kind of crazy. There's a mole in the Discord. Nice. All right, so yeah, that is a Salty 64 or not Salty. That was the best utility land tournament. All right, so what do we have left here? Do we want to do any little tags or anything like that really quick?
Sure.
You guys can
whatever Adam normally says every week.
You guys can support us multiple ways, either by becoming a patron. You get to join our Discord, get proxies if you are in a certain tier level and all that stuff. You can chat with us and have all the discussion with everybody. There's a lot of people. We all talk there. And then also You can support us by going and actually you got to go to my eBay because we took our store down just because it didn't make sense to have it up. But we have like this cup, this mug. Actually, Lowry, do you have your mug? Because that's actually the right color. We have red Yeti mugs. We have T-shirts, play mats, metal tokens, all that stuff there. That is actually supporting us if you guys check that out. And that is in the link below this episode. The other way is you guys can donate to this on the live stuff. I guess we have Malort back in the mix just for regular stuff for the time being.
I don't know where my cup is.
What? What?
I lost it, I think.
Uh-oh. And then the fourth way is just watch our stuff on YouTube. That helps us out. Subscribe, watch, like. Liking stuff helps. So if you haven't done so yet, please like this video right now because it helps with the algorithms and it gets rid of the serial. There's 3 serial thumbs downers that just go through our videos and go.
They're still there?
Thumbs down.
They're consistent.
Thumbs down. Thumbs down. So you guys thumbs upping.
2 dimes and a nickel.
Yeah, it's him.
All 3 of his coins.
Yeah. Nice. So help counteract the thumbs down, serial thumbs downer by giving it a thumbs up. It won't be thumbs down yet. It's normally like a couple days after the cast comes out, and then the thumbs down come in. So we got some haters. All right, so that's it for the tags. I do want to mention, and you don't have to say anything here, but we lost a good one this week with Mr. Taka, your buddy passing away, your dog. So we lost that gave me goosebumps there.
He was a good boy.
Sorry about that, Lowry. You lost the puppy there and everything. So condolences to you and your guys' family. So I just we lost a Commander Smith puppy, or I don't know, what would you call that? A Commander Smith?
The 14-year-old puppy. Yeah, basically.
Right.
As long as his hips were just gonzo and so, but he, as long as he could climb into your lap, he would as a 85-pound dog. Like he's
You guys had him for he had a good long life. You guys are good puppy parents. I call all dogs puppies.
Thanks.
It doesn't matter about their
right.
age. They're all puppies to me. So other than that, let's get to oh shit. You know what I didn't whatever. I was gonna give people replacements for the cards that were banned, but we kind of didn't. It kind of that whole shifted, It wasn't more because that might change now. So at this point, it's whatever. I have to go back to my notes from last week, so let's get over to this, and then I'll just do the big voice thing. Top 10 Commander cards. All right, so we have changed the way we do this, where Lowry and I used to collaborate, and it would take a long time and lots of arguing and not arguing, but vouching for cards and being like, I think this should be on my list. I think this should be on my list. We have changed it into a Fave 5 style where we each don't know each other's 10, and it's kind of like a draft. So I believe I started the last one, so I think you, even though I won the tournament, you can start this one. So it's all Commander product.
I was thinking that you can go first since you won the tournament, but then I get first pick on the next tournament. How about that?
Nope.
You want that?
Nope.
Okay.
So this includes, instead of us having our Fave 5 commanders, this includes the commanders. It's everything that's in the set. And it's new cards, not reprints, by the way. So that's another thing we heard.
Yeah.
So Lowry, it doesn't mean this is the best card, but what is your first overall pick?
I'm gonna say this is probably the best card. Just getting it out of the way. You're looking at your list.
Yep. I'm getting ready to cross something off here.
It's Razorkin Needlehead. 2 red, 2/2.
I don't
human
even
assassin.
have that on my list.
Are you kidding me?
Razor.
Goodness.
Kin, K-I-N.
Razor. Yeah, the middle one.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you know why? Because. Yeah. Because there was other cards.
It has
like
first strike if it's your turn.
I know.
And then whenever an opponent draws a card, Razorkin Needlehead deals 1 damage to them. So it just adds, like, it's always happening no matter what. It's not like after the first spell. Like if you're wheeling, this is going in every Nekusar deck if that's even a thing anymore.
That's a good point.
And it's a decade old plus at this point. But
I was looking at mine the other day, and I was like,
it probably got killed when Crypt and Jeweled Lotus was banned. So. But this is gonna do a lot of damage in a game, in my opinion. Like, this is 2/2, easy to come out, easy to cast for the most part at 2 red. So I really like this one. It's always dealing damage.
Yep.
And they'll always know you're there. What do you got?
Always know you're there. Shit. You know, it's been a little bit. It's been a while. Because I don't remember what the card does. I just have it on the top of my list, and I'm like, do I just...
That's why I take screenshots of the cards I like.
Yeah, but I can't do that because the screenshot is my camera. So
That's a really good point.
yeah, I can't do any of that stuff. Shit. Well, I think I'm just gonna go with whatever's on my top of my list, but it's just the one that I wrote down. It doesn't mean that it's the top card at all, and I don't remember what the card
It's the first
does.
one you saw. You're like, oh,
it
I
is.
like that.
It is. It's the
Write it down.
It's the Overlord of the Hauntwood, so it's the green one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is the 3/2 green enchantment creature avatar horror. It has impending 4, which is 2 green and 1 colorless. If you cast the spell for its impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters on it and isn't a creature. So it's basically suspending it, right? And then the last counter is removed at the beginning of your end step. Oh, it comes in as an enchantment, so it's not suspending, because suspending would keep it exiled. This is actually just comes in as an enchantment. When the last one is removed, then it becomes a creature. When it enters or attacks, create a tap colorless land token named everywhere that is every basic land type. So I just think this is a pretty sweet for your 5 color decks, 4 color decks, 3 color decks, 2 color decks. Maybe not that far, but for 3. Actually, maybe for 3.
It's a good card for every color.
Yeah,
I don't think this is
for 3. You drop this, it's you're getting a land. You're not going to search your library for a land, but it's a land that can tap for any color. So this is
right. This is definitely an Enchantress type card.
Yeah.
If you have an enchantment deck, this will go in it. All of these impending cards are mythic and a cycle for each color.
But
you might touch on them. I personally, for some reason,
this is my
I
only
like
one.
them. They're very good, but I ain't feeling them.
This
really.
is my
I like the other versions, and I'll talk about those whenever I get to them.
Yeah, I have those in here too. I know what you're talking about because I have a lot of those. I'm like, I like that one, and I like that one, and I like that one.
I like those
that one. I have,
better.
I have 4 of the 5 written down.
I might have 4 of the 5 as well.
All right, so that is my number 1 overall pick. Well, it's not number 1, but it's my first pick. All right, what is your second pick, Lowry?
I'm kind of looking at that right now. Let's go with. Do we do that? I'm gonna try and skip that one. All right, we'll go with the Black Legend. That's the big boy. Velgavoth.
That's my second one.
Terror Eater.
That was my next one.
That wasn't? All right.
No, that
good job.
was.
I'm in the stealing mode right now. 6 mana, 3 black, 9/9 flying lifelink. It has ward. Sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. It's an Elder Demon. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead, and during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Velgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost.
So like Bolus's Citadel in a way, kind of paying the life instead of whatever.
I mean, I think Bolus's Citadel is probably easier to do.
Right. But I'm saying that you're paying the life instead of actually casting the.
Yeah. Yep. And so, but just like you can mill players and you just gain so much card advantage.
Yeah.
Whenever they do, you wrath the board and somehow keep this around, you just gain so much advantage. Like the 9/9 life link too. I really like that part.
Well, not only that, like the ward part on it, the making them sacrifice non-land permanents. If you're able to protect it after that, you're able to use those cards that they warded or that they had to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Because you can play the exiled cards, right? Because it's during your turn, you may play exiled cards with this. Sacrifice 3 not. Yeah, so those will go to the graveyard. So I mean, you can reuse anything that they're using. Yeah, this just
unless they're tokens, but
right. This is just silly. It's good though.
It's a pretty cool card. Yeah, this is. I mean, I think it's great at that 9 mana spot. Like,
yeah,
it feels relatively balanced. Cheating it in is going to be crazy though.
Yes,
So,
the 9 is. That's a lot to get out there, but yeah, cheating in
Right.
will be really nice. I dig it. That was my next one. Let me just get the last big dog out, and then everything else I have written, whatever. So I'm going with Meat Hook Massacre 2. I know it's not as good as Meat Hook Massacre 1, just regular
agreed.
one. But I like this. This is definitely going in my Braids deck, but it's 4 black and double X. When it enters, each player sacrifices X creatures. Whenever a creature you control dies, you may pay 3 life. If you do, return that card under your control with a finality counter. Whenever a creature opponent control dies, they may pay 3 life. If they don't, return that to under your control with a finality counter. So it has that what's the god? The black and white god that does a very similar thing where
Athreos.
Yeah, Athreos. So it does that for the bottom part. But the nice thing is you can use it for. This goes well in my Braids deck. That's why I like it. I'm probably just going to pay the 4 black. I don't really care about the XX. I mean, paying 2 extra if I have it, sure. I automatically get that. But the 4 black, and then I'm sacrificing stuff and bringing them back. 3 life is nothing in Commander, and bringing it back with the finale counter, and then you get the ETBs and all that stuff. Hey,
I mean, the 4 black is rough.
Parks, you pulled one of those. You get this, buddy.
Oh, good for you.
Good job, buddy. But yeah, I think the 4 black is what's going to keep this out of a lot of decks, unlike the original Meat Hook Massacre. But if this gets out there, I think it's going to do some damage. So
Yeah.
I mean, just think of that. You do board wipes, and it's like, hey, do you want to lose 15 life, or do you want some of those creatures to come to me? To each person. It just seems pretty brutal, and actually, kind of in a way, you have protection on your creatures. It pays you have life to pay, but board wipes don't hurt you as bad when this thing's out. So,
yeah.
All right, Larry, what is your third pick?
I'll go after the first one we know that we're talking about. Enduring Tenacity.
That's the first one I had too. Oh, sorry.
2 colorless, 2 black, 4/3 snake glimmer. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life, and whenever it dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control as an enchantment. So it comes into play as a creature, and when it dies, it comes back as an enchantment.
Can we just say that all of these are good? Like,
do you want to just have it in the cycle?
I just want you to you have the cycle, because
I didn't put down the red one, so I don't know what that's doing.
Oh, that one's Courage, which is the 2+0 and haste. Curiosity is draw.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What?
You just killing the cycle? All right.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
No, I think you
it.
get the cycle, because we have a lot. If we just do those, we're gonna waste a lot of ours.
Best cards in the set.
And then I think the white one is the only one I didn't have. The green one's Vitality, which is your creatures tap for mana. So they all do.
And the white one draws you cards when you have creatures ETB with 2 or less power, but only triggers once per turn.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's Curiosity. What was the blue one then?
The blue one draws you cards whenever you have creatures deal damage.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I wrote down. Okay, yeah. So they're all okay. White could be used too. I like you didn't write down the red, but I think the red is actually pretty decent, giving a power pump, a 2+0 power pump to your stuff, and they all gain haste. I think that's pretty decent.
Right. I mean, because there's all of these are kind of like different amalgamations of cards that already exist, and that is also one of them.
But the thing is
Ogre, Battle Driver, or whatever. But
these
like,
are just
I don't
really
use
tough
that card
to kill, because you kill the creature, then it turns into an enchantment, and enchantments we know is one of the hardest things to remove in Magic. So these are just, you have to kill them twice unless you're exiling them,
Yeah.
So I think they're all really good. Are you okay with that?
Like them all.
Are you okay with that? You're taking all. You just put it as you took the enduring stuff, is what you did there.
I don't know if I have 10 now.
Really? What about Commanders?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Unless I steal something.
You could. You likely will.
I don't remember what this one. I mean, I wrote down what it does, but all right, we're just gonna do it. It's Abhorrent Oculus. Is that how you say that?
You doing that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abhorrent.
I give it to you.
You're about to hit that button. So this is 2 and 1 blue for a 5/5 eye creature. As an additional cost to cast the spell, exile 6 cards from your graveyard. Pretty easy to do in Commander. It has flying, and at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Manifest Dread. So what Manifest Dread is, you look at the top card, or the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them on the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other in your graveyard. You can turn the face up 1 at any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card. The fact that you're grabbing 2 cards and obviously probably picking the one that's a creature so you can turn it over at a later date. But you can fill your graveyard. So there's a lot, and this is at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. So in one turn cycle, you're doing this 3 times, so you're boom, 2/2, 1 goes in your graveyard. Boom, 2/2, 1 goes to the graveyard. So if you're being able to play graveyard synergies, this is fantastic. It's only a 3-drop. Yes, you do have to have 6 cards in your graveyard for this to come out, but if you're playing things that's graveyard synergy like, it should be pretty easy to get your graveyard filled up a little bit. So I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. Commander, it's easy to get graveyard stuff. There's tons of board wipes, and yeah, so that's my pick.
This was on my list. I think it's a really cool card. Like, again, this is one of those that you can easily cheat into play, and then it's just doing work. The other nice thing is that if you're able to have multiple in different formats, they feed into themselves. So, because like you're putting that other card in the graveyard, and so eventually you can easily just do it again.
Eat that again. Yeah. That's
Not for us, but I think it's a really cool card. My next card, my 4th pick, is going to be Screaming Nemesis. This is 2 colorless red.
All right.
You don't know what? What? No way.
No way.
Two colorless and a red for a 3/3 spirit. Has haste, and whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game.
It is good. I wanted to make fun
I really like these cards. There's only one other that's basically doing it for the entire game.
I wanted to make fun of you, but yeah, that's good.
Well, that's why I was surprised. I remember in the Discord, you're like, "Oh, this is so good."
Yeah,
you just forgot it. You didn't even see it.
No, I saw it, but I think when I thought the damage part, I was like, whatever. We have other cards like that. Forgot about the part where they can't gain life for the rest of the game. It's like, those hurt. Like, those hurt so bad because it's not that this creature gets removed and then you can gain life again. It's once you get hit with this, you can't gain life anymore. That is it. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not an emblem. Like, you can't remove emblems anyways. I mean, it's basically like an emblem at that point. It's not you need to get rid of it. Like, it sucks. And like you said, there's one other card that does this, and I've been hit with that card
for the rest of the game. Yeah,
I've been hit with that card before, and it's like, I think it's in my life gain deck, and I'm like, motherfucker, that's what this deck does. This deck no longer works. I don't know. It wasn't with my will deck, but I know I had another deck that was gaining life. And
that was way long ago, because it's from like Shadowmoor or something.
Yeah. So I like it. I wanted to make fun of you, but I can't. All right, so we're on our 4th pick. Is that
you're on your 4th pick?
4th pick. Okay, I have one of our first room cards. So I'm going to do Funeral Room / Awakening Hall. The one side Funeral Room, and so all these work is you have to cast one of them to come into play. If you cheat them into play, they are neither one. So if you somehow are able to just Chaos Warp one of these into play or something like that, they're both locked. and the way you unlock them is by paying the mana cost of one side of the room. So the funeral room is 2 black or 2 colorless and 1 black. It is an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and gain 1 life. We've seen this effect before. But the other side is 6 and 2 black. When you unlock this door, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it has well, it's not Rise of the Dark Realms, but it's a worse Rise of the Dark Realms because you're only bringing your stuff back. But it has that, if you're in those deck synergies of sacrificing, making people, the, am I trying to say aristocrats type of style? Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to go in an auto include because you're sacrificing your stuff and then you can bring those back at a later date, so it's 8. I keep saying later date. I don't know why I'm saying that today. That's the second time I've said that because you're not going to do it on another date. It's going to be at a later time, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways,
Right.
You're having 2 things that are very good on this.
You can only play this game when it's like 11 o'clock. It's the last game, and you have to get lucky that you drew it. That's the only time this is.
It's a later date. It hits midnight.
Yep. This is going to be so good in an hour.
I like this because I play a lot of sacrifice stuff style decks, and it has 2 really fun things that work really well together. I think a lot of these room ones, I have a couple others on here, work well together. So that is my 4th overall pick. Oh God, yeah, I don't know if I can hit all these because I'm not gonna have enough to pick my other.
All right, we can cut it short. We went long. Nah, we're good. Okay. My next card is gonna be Unstoppable Slasher. Again, this is something that I really like as an effect as well, and it's 2 colorless and a black. Waiting for you.
Oh, yeah.
2/3 Zombie Assassin has Death Touch. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, they lose half their life rounded up. And whenever it dies, if it had no counters on it, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with 2 stun counters on it. Not a huge deal if it's going to be able to come back, but I like these effects because they do quicken the game quite a bit.
Yeah.
You got a couple effects that are similar to this that aren't coming to brain right now, but definitely a spike, quite a spike. There we go. That's one of them. And then you got a black legend that paired up with the green guy from Battle Bond. So I like adding this in. It's zombie in a proper tribe for it.
Plus, it keeps coming back. You don't have, unless it gets exiled. It has the death touch, so you're killing something with it. It dies, comes back 2 turns later or 3 turns later, whatever. You can start it all over again. Yeah, I like it. I saw it.
And the questionable thing though is like you're saying, like if it comes into play and then it dies, is it doing anything? Like, is the game just over by the time it's untapping?
Right. Because you can't attack that turn unless you have the haste and all that stuff. So you're actually waiting 4 turns?
So we'll see. We'll see. But
yeah, I mean, it being a
think
zombie,
it's a cool one.
I think that's a good good point that it's a zombie. You're putting this in every zombie deck.
Right.
Because,
whatever.
well, I mean, this is
You're considering it for zombie decks, I'd say.
This is a good zombie in there. I like it. Plus, it has kind of the recursion stuff built in on it. I'm gonna. Oh, and you know what? I mentioned this on the Discord, and I am going to keep my word that I was going to keep it in there. I mentioned this on our video of the pre-cons, but I like Into the Pit from the pre-cons. This is 2 colorless and a black. It is an enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library at any time, and then you may cast spells from the top of your library by sacrificing a non-land permanent in addition to a paying its other cost. So again, like my last card, I like decks with the sacrificing of creature cards of cards. This allows you to sacrifice a non-land permanent, so it's more than just creatures. Again, this is going in my Braids deck, but this is a free sack outlet in a way. You are able to do an effect that black doesn't do very often with the looking at the top of your library as well. And then playing from the top of your library. It's more of a green-blue type of thing. So I like this, and it's not that much for 3, giving you card advantage. And it's in a color with black, being able to sacrifice things easily. You do that a lot. Like the creature you were just talking about. Use that damn zombie, sacrifice it, free sack. It gets the stun counters, so it comes back. You can sacrifice it with the damn stun counters on it. It doesn't matter. You can keep sacrificing it to play the cards off the top of your library. Right?
I mean, it doesn't come back when the stun counters are on it.
Oh, that's right. Can't keep doing it. But you can do 2 times, and then
you definitely can do 2 times.
Yep, and then it'll be not exile, just stay in the graveyard, or you just wait till the stun counters are gone. But there's a lot of effects that black does where you're sacrificing. You want things to be sacrificed. So I think this is going to be heavily used, and it's not that it's $2 right now. I think this one's going to be used quite a bit. So I like this.
I do like it, like you, because we're competing against, again, talking about Bolas's Citadel, but that card is hard to compare against, right? Like, I do like this. I like it a lot. I like playing cards off the top of the library. So lands will stay on top. It has to be a spell that you're going to be casting,
right,
stuff like that.
Spells,
so, but being able to do like an instant off the top is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I like it.
I think that's my only. Oh no, I have commanders that I like, but this is my only commander card that isn't a commander.
Okay. Yeah, I skipped the commander decks just because we already
kind of
talked
went
about
over
them.
Yep.
So if you wanted, go check them out. I like Into the Pit. My next one is gonna end up being. Let's go with the Lance Cycle, but let's go Gloom Lake Verge. GLOOMLAKE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I thought for a second you were picking the 13 life one. I was like, those are terrible.
No. But this is the rare cycle. All the friendly colors have a pairing, so there's 5 of them in this set, I believe. I don't think there's 10, right? I think, but basically, this one taps for a blue, and then it can tap for a black if you control an island or a swamp. So instead of dealing with taps, like the check lands, they come into play tapped unless you control an island or a swamp. This is you get one
blue
color, but if you have an island or a swamp, you also get black. I like this version. This is Nimbus Maze, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And kind of surprised that they didn't name the blue-white one Nimbus Maze. Do you remember that one from Future Sight?
Yeah, I had a bunch of those. I liked that one. I never put it in a deck, but I liked it a lot. I liked the art.
And that one
Nimbus
was
Maze.
oh no, that it's a little bit different.
Yeah, Nimbus Maze is a little There,
because you need
Nimbus.
If you get one, so if it's an island, it'll tap for a plains, and if you have a plains, it'll tap for an island,
and it gives you a colorless.
And if neither, it's colorless. Yeah. So these are better than Nimbus Maze, and Nimbus Maze is cool.
Yeah, I like
so
Nimbus Maze. Yep.
I like the land cycle. I dig them for what we're doing.
Yep. No, I get it. I like it. Like a duel doesn't have a downside really, with a tap and everything.
Got 2 cycles now.
What number are we on now? Am I on my 6th pick?
You're on your 6th pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, let me get one of the commanders because I do want to build this guy. So I am going to build this little guy, and lots of people are going to hate it because it's mill. But the Mind Skinner, this is 3 blue. It's a legendary enchantment creature, Nightmare, 10/1. It can't be blocked. If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards. So it's not combat damage. I wish that this was like red with it, because then you could do some shenanigans with X damage to everybody and doing lots. Oh man, that'd be so good. But otherwise, I think how I want to build this, without even gathering the cards yet, is a lot of unblockable stuff. See, the problem with mill, and I've built a lot of mill decks. Right now, Mothman is my mill, but that's not really a mill deck. You don't mill people out. You more kill them by milling with damage. I want a true, like, hey, you just lost your deck, and see all those cards going to your graveyard. You're crying, and I will lick your tears. That's what I want to do with this. And
weird.
It's the Cartman like, oh, your mill tears. That's what I want to do. The problem though with mill decks is you become a target because everybody's life is technically 100. Well, really it's like 80 when you really are talking about. So it's like you're having to deal 80 damage in a way to everybody, and you normally don't have blockers and stuff. With this, I think you can build it around more creature based and swing in, and you just need to hit one person, one silly bastard that keeps their stuff or is falling behind or is all out attacking. You hit that one person, you're hitting everybody. So I don't need to worry about getting the mill cards. I just need to worry about getting the creatures or doing the damage. And so I think this is a very different. It's not your mom's mill deck. I'm like throwing out all these phases or all these like sayings. It's perfect. It's not your mom's mill deck. It's a different kind of mill deck. I think this is more an aggressive attack style mill deck that you don't have to worry about. Because the thing I don't like about mill decks,
and you'll build this at a later date, right?
What do you mean? At a later date?
Because if you're saying stuff.
Oh. What do you mean what I was saying?
That was one of your sayings that you said earlier. I don't know why I'm saying at a later date.
Oh my God, I don't even get my own jokes, and you got
Jesus. Here we go.
I
think it's cool. I look forward to dying to the Mind Skinner.
But yeah, I think it's very different than any other mill deck that are typically out there. So I think this will be fun. Very easy to kill. 1 damage though. Whew.
I mean, combat damage doesn't matter because it's unblockable. But one little
ping
damage everything. Yeah. I got a couple decks that can deal with this pretty easy.
We'll see.
I do it. Judith. Judith does 1 damage to everything. That's easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
We'll see.
And then I have Indoraptor that wants to deal 1 damage to everybody and everything.
I'll just throw a Mithril coat on him or something like that. Watch yourself. Don't mess with my Mind Skinner.
Right. I'm going to go with a cool card on this one.
You sure?
The Jolly Balloon Man.
That's definitely not on mine.
You got to be kidding me. 1 and a red
every time you're like, you got to be kidding me. Is it all one word? Jolly Balloon?
Yeah, you should type it all as the Jolly Balloon Man, 1 word.
Oh, no, that didn't work.
That's it.
Is it?
Oh,
no, it's not in the right. There we go.
All right, 1 and a red and a white. 1 for Human Clown. It has haste.
This is an infinity card. What is
token
this?
That's the Jolly Balloon Man.
It's an infinity card. This is balloons. It's from Infinity. What the hell?
I'm assuming that's scary. You're the one that knows that stuff. It's a clown that blows up leather head balloons or something. They are faces.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. It taps. Pay 1. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other colors and types. And it's flying and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. I like it. I like different variations of Kiki Jiki. I don't know if I like that it has haste and then sorcery speed right next to it.
Yeah, I guess it
feels deceptive. But I like making copies of my creatures. I'm down with it. For 3 mana, I'll do it. And it can block for days.
You gonna build this, Commander, or is this what 99?
No, I'm not building this. Anything this set, I don't think. I don't have time. Nothing really called to me, and I'm gonna be gone. So yeah.
All right.
But this is a cool one. All right. Balloon Man.
Oh shit! What do I want to grab here? So I'm on. This is 7.
Yeah.
I already talked. I'm not going to mention that commander I like from the pre-cons because we already talked about that one. Was the vehicle commander? No, I don't think that. Okay, I'm going to talk about that one. I like that one. I got one more commander I want to talk about, and then the rest won't be commanders. Okay,
I missed one. Shit.
Kona Rescue Beastie. This is 3 and 1 green for a legendary creature, Beast Survivor. So I might build this one because I want a vehicle deck, and my Magda deck was that. But then people don't like my Magda deck, so I don't play my Magda deck. This one might be it. So it's at the beginning.
Oh, you're fine. Just play with it, and then we can complain about it more.
At the beginning of your second main phase, if Kona Rescued Beastie is tapped, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's what I was saying with the vehicles is this guy doesn't matter when he comes into play. If your vehicle's out, you tap him to make your vehicle a creature. You equip it or whatever you call it. And then you drop big fatties from your hand. The only problem is this is only on your turn because it's the second main phase. So you can't really do much on other people's turns. So I got to figure out how I would work that. But just having this guy be tapped and then being able to drop the biggest fatty from your hand, it's a permanent. So it doesn't need to be a creature. It can be artifact, enchantment, anything. Wish this was 2 colors. I hate just monocolor stuff, but I think this could be fun.
Oh, for you to build with?
Right. As a commander. As being at a 99, I love that it's 1 color. Wanting to build with it, I want it 2 colors or 3. So we'll see if I build this. I know I'm building the mill one. I don't know if I'll jump on this because I already have one from the Commander precons that I want to build. So that's 2 from this set. And I normally only build 1 every 4 months. So we'll see. But I think this one's cool in general anyways, like just as a 99 as well. If you can get this guy tapped and be able to drop stuff, it just seems pretty good. So Lowry, 8th pick. You got 3 more picks to go.
Yeah, I missed one. I don't know what I got. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Yeah. I don't know what I did. All right. I kind of want to go with fear of missing out.
Oh, I
FOMO. But this is 1 and a red for a 2/3 enchantment creature, Nightmare. Whenever it enters, discard a card, then draw a card, and then whenever fear of missing out attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. I mean, even if you're getting 1 attack off with a bigger creature, there's 2 mana.
Yeah.
That has an ETB on it. It has a body of 2 and 3. Like all the stats are crazy on this one in my. So 2 mana, you get a 2/3 that ETBs to discard a card and draw a card. And then if it attacks and you have 4 delirium, you get to untap your biggest creature and attack again. Like for 2 mana, this seems insane in my book.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just staring.
2.
Whatever.
No.
That's whatever.
The thing I was trying to figure out is it says when it enters, discard a card, then draw. It doesn't say discard up to 1 card. So what if you have no cards in hand? Are you not able to cast this?
I don't know. Man.
Enters, discard a card, then draw a card. I don't know if you can if you don't have a card in hand.
It's fine. Maybe build a better deck.
No, I just
make sure you have cards in hand.
They don't do that much. They don't do that very often anymore. They normally say up to. So I just was like taken back. I'm like, oh, it doesn't say up to, and then draw.
That's a good question. Yeah, because there are definitely some cards out there. They're like tap, discard a card, draw a card.
Yeah. So
and so it's like part of.
So I
think you can play it. You just might not be able to draw that card.
Yeah. That is also the other part of my mind. I was like, if you don't have cards, can you just draw? Does that work? So I got hung up on that.
If it says up to, then yes, I believe so. But yeah, for 2 mana in my mind, you have a potential for card selection and another attack phase. This seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, because you're untapping. You only have to untap 1, but you get an additional attack phase with everything. So that's
right.
Nice.
Doesn't mean that you can have cards with vigilance and they can attack again.
Because normally you see anything that gives you multiple attack phases is typically like 5 or more CMC, and this is like you said, is 2. So this is pretty redonkulous for that. So yeah, I dig it. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to like just stare and like this is a bad card.
I mean, no, I get it. I get it.
I was just like, what do we do with that first part there? Okay. I don't remember. I have a note next to this, but it doesn't make sense to me, so I'm not remembering what this one is. Again, I did this a week and a half ago, and I don't remember.
Yes.
All right, the Wandering Rescuer.
Okay.
It's 3 and 2 white for a legendary creature, human, samurai, noble. It has flash and convoke. It's a 3/4 double strike. Other tap creatures you can. Oh, that's why I liked it. Other tap creatures you control have hexproof. The only problem I have is like we have a lot of this kind of stuff in white. So is this going to take over something in your deck that you already have? I like the convoke part. So you're tapping down your creatures to make this so it's, cheaper, obviously, but you're making it so that those gain hexproof. Like you want to convoke. You want this to basically be free to make them survive. And if they're already tapped, then you're fine. So I like the idea of this card as a card, protection card. I think it's kind of sweet. And then even after it's out, it isn't just a spell that is done, goes to your graveyard. This is a 3/4 double strike. Like that does some stuff. It's actually a legit card. So and that other tap creatures stays. So it's a static ability that's out there. So on your next attack.
Right.
Through that,
it doesn't
turn,
protect itself, but yeah,
right,
everything
right.
else.
Yep. So
And I have a deck for it with my Saint Traff and Ren deck.
Oh,
And
good
I
for
had
you.
one for Takasia, but I took that apart. So definitely had some decks that would have liked it, but
so I think this is a good card. There's a lot to it. I trying to think where this will go, but does it take over other white spells that protect stuff? Maybe.
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good question.
All right, number 9, Lowry. Two more picks.
I think I'm gonna go with a room of my own. I'll go with Dollmaker's Shop.
Yep, that was my next one.
Was it?
Yep, you're.
I do like that one.
Yeah, I waited because I wasn't sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like this one. All
Okay.
right.
And then also Porcelain Gallery. So Dollmaker's Shop is a white and a colorless. Whenever one or more non-toy creatures you control attack a player, create a 1/1 white toy artifact creature token. So for 2 mana, it comes down. If you had non-toy creatures and they attack 1, 2, 3 players, you get 3 toys. And that builds up pretty quick for 2 mana. I really like that.
But
and then the
I
6
would say,
mana.
yeah, the second part of this card is the part
Yep.
that was like, oh shit, this is good.
Yeah, and then creatures you control for 6 mana, you can add into the room, open the door or whatever. But creatures you control have base power and toughness, each equal to the number of creatures you control.
It's just insane. Like,
Right. That feels really, really good. They work well together. More than likely, you are a token deck or a bunch of creature deck, and it seems
it's
pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
It's creatures and huge creatures when you get to that spot.
Right. You drop the 2 and you just build for those, you have that threat of that 6 at some point. All these little 1/1s that you're making with all the stuff that you're attacking with are going to turn into 6/6s, 7/7s, 8/8s. Like it's
Yeah.
insane what this can do. So yeah, I really
And they
like
get
this.
bigger on the attack too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't have to play the 2 mana spot first.
Right,
You can
you can
just
do
be
the
like
6. Yep.
late game, 6 mana, all my creatures are 8/8s.
Yeah.
Attack. Like that's great.
Yep, I like this one a lot. That was my next one. I'll go with my last room one, since you took that one. But it's Dazzling Theater. Dazzling Theater and Prop Room. Richard jumped in. Long live Commander. Under Wizard goes goodbye. RC. So Dazzling Theater, 3 and 1 white. Creature spells you cast have Convoke, which you can tap creatures like we talked about on the last one. Tap your creature to take down the mana, or if it has a color, it takes down the color. So all your creature spells, you can tap your creatures to make your creatures come in, or tap them for free or less cost reduction. Prop Room is 2 and 1 white. Untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. Both of these are amazing. Like,
right.
built in on
This
one
was my
enchantment.
other room.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
So,
this
yeah,
one
it
is.
was.
It's just silly. Like I like both of these effects. You get one of these out, and I like the rooms idea with all of this, and I like that they all work together. I know split cards tend to work together too, but these really do seem every single split or the ones that we've talked about so far, the rooms really work together hand in hand, and this is no different. And so I dig this. This is going in quite a few decks of mine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, my Convoke deck, this definitely wants it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Convoke right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The untap on each other player's untap step it's
also very good.
Yep. So
especially in Convoking.
Yeah.
It's a great card.
Your 10th pick. Are you gonna pick a commander they're gonna not build?
No, I don't know. I only have 2 cards left on my list, and I'm gonna go with an uncommon. Cynical Loner. CYNI.
CYNI.
1 in a black for a 3/1 human survivor. Can't be blocked by glimmers. And at the beginning of your second main phase, if it's tapped, you may search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. So kind of that same idea, like if the card is tapped, you get a really cool effect. And for 2 mana and going and entombing any card and putting it in your graveyard is going to be awesome.
Yep.
You like it for flashback, you like it for reanimation, you like it for just getting cards into your graveyard, specifically whatever you want. But there's a lot that can be worked on this, and I really like that. Like if you're really hurting, like you can go and trigger your delirium.
So yeah, unlike the green one where I was like, I need to tap it to do its effect with using it with vehicles. This can't be blocked, so you don't have to worry about it dying when you're attacking. So you just
it can't be blocked by glimmers.
Oh, glimmers.
Yeah, those are kind of like some of those that enchantment cycle that we talked about. So it's only in this set a couple of cards, but
never mind. This is terrible.
I run enough like
just kidding.
Springleaf Drum or Paradise Mantle or those are 2 big cards that I really like. So that helps me tap things down. But if you got vehicles, you like them, I think this is really good there. There's enough stuff out there that can enable this where I'm not hating it. But I think it's a cool card. Entomb is a very powerful card. If you can get anything like it,
yep,
you should think about it.
Gotcha. I like it. Or do I? I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Stop trying to be nice.
All right, my last one is another commander, and this one is an interesting one, but it's Arabella Abandoned Doll. It's a white and a red for a 1/3 legendary artifact creature toy. When it attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. So I liked this because I could finally use that one card that I really like, Assemble the Legion. I love that card.
Oh,
they just keep getting bigger and big. 1/1. The first turn you get 1/1, then it's 2, then it's 3, then it's 4, then 5. Like it just keeps going up. You could build a deck around just making a meat force, just that whole spread of tokens, and then you just attack with this, and that doesn't have to deal damage. You just attack with it, and then you deal that much damage to each opponent, and you're gaining life in the process. So I think this one could be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'll... Oh, this is also an uncommon. I didn't realize that.
Right. This would have been perfect in my Ishin deck that just was dealing everybody losing life, and then you double that trigger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a cool card at uncommon for sure.
Yeah. I actually thought it was rare, but yeah. So our last picks were both uncommons there. So I don't know if I'll build the deck around this, but I've always liked Assemble the Legion. And when I see a card that's like, ooh, yeah, that one's going to work well with that card, it tickles me a little bit. So that's where I'm at with this. All right. I think that's it. We got it?
I think that's definitely it. Where are we at?
All
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad.
If there's anything that we miss, well, obviously, everybody has their own opinions on what they want. Let us know in the comments of cards that you guys would like or would make your top 10, or if you agree with some of our picks. We want to hear about that too. So, I think that'll do it, right? I think we're going to do what? What did we decide pre-cast that we're going to do the deck upgrades next week? And then we got vacation time coming up, so there might be a double cast.
We'll be doing next Monday and Thursday.
Yep. So double cast next week. That should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs. I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? There.
Hey, Meat Boys, could you kindly tap the like and subscribe button? And if you're ever in the mood, head on over to commandersmiths.com and you can get the shirts and mugs you see on the screen and some other stuff. Thank you.